Holly, who was the 20th person voted out of Survivor Bloomsburg Season 2, and the 4th member of the jury now. So, Holly, let's start out by learning how you heard about Survivor Bloomsburg and why you chose to apply to Season 2.
So I had gotten an email, I believe, about it, and I kind of had looked at it quick and was like, oh yeah, maybe I'll do this. And I had sent in an application, and then you guys were like, oh, can we do an interview? And I was like, actually, I'm really busy, I can't, sorry. And then I came back for orientation. I was like, oh, are you guys still taking people? And you were like, yeah. And I was like, okay. So then I reapplied, and then I did do the interview because I found time. I kind of backed out of it, and then I was like, ooh, and then I was like, maybe I might as well.
Mm-hmm. So, what were your first impressions when you met the 29 other castaways back in episode 1? Who did you start to form connections with right away?
I was a bit overwhelmed with a lot of people in a small area. I'm not the best with people. I get very socially anxious, so that was something to overcome in the very beginning. I automatically started drifting towards like Julia because we had gone on an honors retreat like the weekend before. So I was like, oh, that's a familiar face, I'm just gonna stick next to you. And she was mingling, so I was like, alright.
Were there like any other familiar faces, or was it just Julia?
I think I had seen Cameron before, so she stuck to me and I stuck to Julia. But that was kind of it for the originals, and then they were on my original team. They ended up being on my original team, so that worked out nice.
So, before the game even started, you were in your dorm and you had scarfed down 2 whole pieces of pizza when you received a text message to a hidden item on campus. Tell us about that night.
Oh my god. I had just gotten back, I don't know what I was doing, but I was eating pizza, and I was in my friend's dorm actually, and she had gotten up to go somewhere, and she was like in a different part of like the floor, and I'm eating pizza. I finished 2 pieces, for the meal deal there's 3, so I was like halfway through my 3rd one or something like that, and I get this text. And I was like, oh great, now I need to like get up and do something. So I like leave her room, and I go into like the side where she is, and I open the door, I'm like, we need to go. And she's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, no, we just need to go. And she was like, for what? And I was like, Survivor, I need to go like find something. She was like, okay. So yeah, that was quite the run.
So I guess somewhere along the way, your roommate must have gotten used to you just running out for Survivor.
So that was actually just my friend.
Oh, just your
She's
friend.
not my roommate, but my roommate is Tucker's sister.
Oh yeah.
So that was also another person I knew, I guess. I had met him like 5 minutes before or something. We walked up together.
Had you interacted with Tucker much while he was still in the game, outside of...
Not really. He was pretty busy, and I was pretty busy, but we did have his sister as a connection, so I'd see him every now and then.
In episode 2, you and Julia brought home a win for Python by solving the puzzle in the relay. Tell us about that experience.
That was really fun because I feel like I was able to showcase like one of my strong suits, and working with Julia is always fun because she's just really fun. But I was really proud of us because we went really quick, and when I was rewatching like the recap, I saw the other team wasn't even close. So that was kind of like a big confidence boost for us, I think, especially when there were so many players. It was time for like us to be able to say like, hey, we did this and we contributed in a big way.
So going along with that, you found a clue in one of the puzzle bags. What did you do with it, and when did you go search for the hidden item?
I think we went to search right after we finished the puzzle because we weren't in tribal council. I think it ended up being that mine was already gone, and I think Julia's they found later because Julia also got a clue. But I don't think I got anything from that one.
Tell us about the Deal or No Deal Advantage Challenge in episode 2. What happened, and how and where did you find that hidden item on campus?
So I believe it was the fair weekend, and GK had texted me about it while I was at the fair, so I was like walking and answering, and then I had just started laundry, and he had sent a clue, and I was with my little sister, and I was like, hey, like come with me, and she's in the video. She's like, where are we going? I was like, I don't know. So I was searching at the nearest Centennial, and I was just kind of like trying to compare the background with like the picture, and eventually I did find it.
So would you say that like every time you received a clue like that, you felt the need to just run, just stop what you're
I
doing
did.
and run?
Which is really not fun when you have asthma. Which really came out last episode too.
In episode 3, tell us about how you felt you personally did in the challenges: volleyball, dodgeball, and the flippin' dots.
I think I did pretty decently in volleyball. I used to play a little bit, but not like competitively or anything. I did serve for the first half for my team, and we did end up winning, so that was nice. I wasn't in the dodgeball portion because we had extra people. And for the flipping dots, I think I did a really good job for my team. And my legs hurt for like a week after, so I'm gonna say I did really good.
I guess you got some working out in the process while
Oh,
playing
yeah.
Survivor. Yeah. So tell us about the escape room challenge you did, and also you and Tatiana got the key to a friend's car, but then found the wrong vehicle before heading up to Upper Campus. What happened?
So Tatiana finished the escape room, I think like a couple minutes before I did, but we all got our clues at the same time. So by the time I was done with my escape room, I had like walked over to her and she was like, oh, I just got my clue, and I had just gotten my clue too. And we're like, oh, it's on Upper Campus. And we were walking by and one of her sorority sisters was like, oh, just take my car, like I have the keys, it's right over there. And we were like, okay. Tatiana does not like driving, but I was not about to drive her friend's car, so she went to go open it, and as we like tried to unlock it, someone else did the same thing, so we thought it was that car, but it was actually not that car. So then we had to race over to the other car, and I had to tell Tatiana where to drive because she had no idea where it was.
So, speaking of where everything was, where did you end up finding your item, and what specifically did you get when you found it?
I had to dig it out of the dirt next to the climbing wall on Upper Campus, and it took a while to find it because it was like getting dark and it kind of blended in, and it was like half buried. I actually ended up texting like GK. I was like, "Is it still here?" And he was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Okay."
So you got a title for yourself, actually. So how did it make you feel that you were one of the queens of finding hidden idols and advantages this season?
It's news to me, but like I always said, I was very committed. I feel like whenever I do something, I want to do it like 100%. I always want to give my all to it, so I feel like I did do that because I was watching all the videos as soon as they came out. I was getting all the clues and all the hints. Yeah, I'm competitive. I was playing pretty hard.
In episode 4, the teams got evened out and you moved over to Gator. How did that feel that night, and did it impact your original alliance that you had?
I wasn't thrilled, but it was expected because I feel like it was just really uneven. I really liked my team, and I think that's when things like started going downhill because we were all getting divided up. But I don't think it really impacted alliances too much. It more kind of just threw more people in the mix.
In that same episode, in episode 4, in the Communication Chain Challenge, you were at the very tail end of the challenge writing information on the board. What worked well for you, and what was the most difficult thing for you as you got info from Ozzy?
I think the most difficult thing was probably trying to like differentiate between words that it could be, because there was a few that he was like, oh, it's this or this, and I had to choose which one to put on the board, so that one was kind of tricky because I felt like a lot of it was in my hands, and then when we lost that, I felt a little bit bad, but everyone was kind of like, nah, that wasn't really you, so that felt a little bit better.
Also in episode 4, talk to us about the Battleship Twister Challenge, your highs and your lows, and there's also actually a really cool picture of you just doing like this little twist thing.
It's on the cover of one of the posts, and one of my friends sent me a picture of it and was like, oh my gosh, and I was like, oh great, okay. That one was pretty fun. It was a little tricky, I think, one of my last ones was on both of my hands, and I like tried, and I was like, no, I can't. But I did try to help, I think it was Gianna out at the time, so I tried to like keep her balanced before one of us ended up falling.